G'day. Hello everyone and welcome back to a Let's Play of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix with you-know-who. No, not Voldemort. Invalid, and I just bumped the mic, I apologize. Let me move my mic a little bit so I'm not bumping it every time I lean forward. There we go. So, today we're doing our last bonus video before we actually finish this whole thing up and get into the review. We are going to continue the adventure with a 100% save file that I found online. I still have all my original saves, I just stuck them in a backup file. And it is a pain in the butt to find out where the save files for this game are located. It's in your Windows folder, of all things. But regardless, let's get right into it. Actually, I wonder, did it change my controller configuration? It didn't. Good. Okay, good. It doesn't actually change any of the game settings. It's just the, that changes. Yes. Every time I change the auto shift, it goes through that. It's so annoying.
I really must pay Violet a visit. He called me the fat lady.
Whoa, what? It did change my controls. What? Hold on. That's not what I want. Ew. There we go, that's better. It did change my controls. This person was using the arrow keys to move. Ew. Okay. So now the recording's restarted 3 times.
Not a single person attacked, named or
Because every time, this is totally irrelevant to anything else we're actually doing in this episode, but every time I change the, oh god, what is it called? Every time I change the configuration settings, it restarts the game. So it doesn't actually restart the game as in closes the desktop and then relaunches it, but it restarts the game engine. So I have to... Well, I don't have to do anything, but Bandicam restarts its recording, so it's kind of a pain in the butt. No, why are you going that way? No. Go the other way. Please. I love how Harry's just kind of twitching on the stairwell, holding it. But today, what we're actually going to do, as soon as I can remember where the hell it is go into the Room of Rewards. And I don't... It's not a doorway, it's a portrait, I think. I can't remember where said portrait is, though. I'm derping hard. Is it this? Ah, no, it's not that one. Shit. Myrtle! Where are you when I need you? Alright, you know what? Screw it. I'm just doing this. Where is Room of Rewards? There we go. Whoop. Actually, where are Ron and Hermione? Oh. Speak of the devil. There they are. I guess I went one too many floors down, huh? Oh god, what was that? Okay. This is, interesting. Here we go.
Every time you discover things, my file gets heavier. You don't know how lucky you are that portraits can't jinx.
Oh, I think I do. Otherwise we'd have a whole lot more problems than we do already. Finally getting into the Room of Rewards. Holy cow, it has been a long time coming. And I know I didn't earn all of these rewards because I didn't complete everything at the castle. Like, I think there were at least 4 floors where I didn't clear up everything. I know I didn't do everything with the... what's it called? With the gobstones, so I didn't complete all the mini-games. And there were a couple other small things that I didn't do. But, oh well. The homework cup. I think that one was doing everything with the professors, right? Let's take a look at this. So it just does a little spinny thing, huh? Studious success. Which one was this for? Did each of the professors give you a separate cup, or was that something else? Ornithology, I think that's for collecting all the birds. Portrait password, this is for all the portraits, of course. Oh, that reminds me, I've actually done my homework for once. So, I earned this one right here, the homework cup. And I started watching back through... Shut up, you stupid portrait. And I've actually started watching through the Harry Potter movies again. And I watched the... I've already seen the first and second ones. The third one I watched recently, and the 5th one I watched recently. I did not realize that the portrait... that the person who plays the fat lady is Dawn French. And I love Dawn French. Mostly for the Vicar of Dibley series, but that's something entirely different.
I was a massive fan of the books, and I'd read, I think, the first and the second. And, yeah, and then Newsround were advertising kids to send in, like, application forms and that. And my mum videoed me doing this. I made this, like, rap song of how much I wanted to be in the film. And are you a talking gargoyle?
Do you normally talk to ones that can't speak?
I don't normally talk to gargoyles.
Or should imagine many gargoyles are grateful for that.
Ginny was obviously the youngest and the only girl, so that's quite a lot of pressure. But I think it's quite fun at the same time, because I can kind of, as a character, she can kind of get away with things.
Well done, Ginny.
Blowing things up comes naturally when you've grown up with Fred and George.
Because I'm not doing school now, we've got more time to play on the game, so it's good.
We do quite like the action adventure, like the Harry Potter game.
Completely exceeded all of my expectations of quite what a video game could achieve in terms of realness.
I think a lot of people can relate to the characters, because there's Hermione, who's the really brainy one who always kind of thinks one step ahead, and Harry's obviously the brave but quite quiet at the same time. But then Ron's kind of the jokingly one.
Kids can sort of relate to the whole school side of it, because I mean they have lessons, they have exams and stuff, so they can sort of relate to that side. But they've also got the whole sort of magic thing with giants and all these sort of amazing sort of creatures.
A lot of films, especially and in games, it's always the adult who comes through, and they're always the big hero. Whereas in Harry Potter, it sort of shows, especially in this one, in the Order of the Phoenix, how the adults have got it wrong. Like Umbridge isn't making sense all the time, and Harry and everyone know that.
Accio Brew!
They said a lot in that interview, holy cow. They bring up so many good points about why a lot of people love the Harry Potter series. And for me, it's mostly the magic bit. But it's the fact that they make it relatable to a lot of people, I think, in the real world, no less, really does kind of drive home the point on why it's so popular, I guess, because you have that familiarity where, yes, these are kids going to school and have exams and teachers and all that stuff, but you still have the magical world. I love that part. And I know frickin' guy trope, but Emma Watson is frickin' amazing looking. To this day. Oh, man. But really interesting to hear what the different casts of characters, what the different actors and actresses had to say about playing their specific roles, and then more about the movies, the game, and the series in general. But I have to disagree with them on the game bit, because it's... I'll share about it in the review, but... Yeah, this game has some much stronger points than the previous games, but it's still not quite there as far as games feel is concerned. But it's alright. So what's this one?
One of the other important things for us on this game was also to bring our characters to life and to bring them a lot closer to the film and to the actors that people know.
This time we really want people to feel like they're looking at the film characters in the game, and so we've gone through with the actors and done head scans of all the actors to incorporate them into the game.
Clearly not quite 100% accurate, but considering this was, what, 2005?
What they do with the computers and kind of how they make our faces, just as if they were us.
It was weird, you know, when we first saw them, it's I don't know, it's a thing for, like, I think every lad to have their face on a game, and to be in it is fantastic, and it looks really lifelike.
We wanted the students to sound like the people you hear in the film, so where better to go than the actual actors themselves? And as you walk around the castle, hearing Fred and George calling out to you, and it being James and Oliver Phelps.
Try this little spell, and one from me too. Incendio!
Loco Mortimort!
Don't kill Cedric, boo-hoo! Oh, I think Potter's gonna cry. Push off, Potter. Got your bed booked in the hospital wing. Loser!
There was a lot of giggles, and it was very hard to keep a straight face.
Protego Maxima! Protego Maxima!
You've got to say it 3 times, and one of those 3 will do it. Also, so when you play the game, every time you hear me saying a spell or doing something, it's slightly different. It's not always the same.
Well, there are never enough of us, but the ones we've got are really good. You've met Kingsley Shacklebolt. He's great. And don't worry, we're not all as mad as Mad Eye.
Working with the cast from the film was absolutely a great opportunity for me. I thought it was great fun. I particularly like working with Rupert Grint because he's probably my favourite character in the film, Ron, because he's just got great script and he delivers his lines so well.
You should write a book, translating mad things girls do so boys can understand them.
It's quite scary because it's so real. It is amazing, and you can sort of see how they sort of progress from like the first one. It was just some random ginger person, and this time it's like proper weird. It's really good though.
You Slytherins think you're so good. Let's hope this makes Umbridge's name mud at the Ministry.
Because a while ago I saw they had the face of me, but they've kind of developed it more. Kind of, they didn't have the hair and everything, and it was kind of weird because it does look kind of weirdly like you. And I was looking at everyone else's, and it's just weird how it's like them, but it isn't them.
So we're just trying to make people feel that the characters that they're moving around the game are actually the characters that they see when they watch the film.
This is like being in one of Bin's History of Magic lessons.
Accio!
Honestly, Harry, you should take more care of books.
You'd better get upstairs. You know what Hermione's like if you're late.
You think you're special just because you're answering the Ministry.
Just like your father, jumping feet first into trouble.
Huh. It's kind of weird hearing them talk about how lifelike it is, finger quotes, in the game compared to how our tech is now, where it's like you have that secondary uncanny valley. Like there was that one NVIDIA, what was it called? The NVIDIA demo they did, I think it was about a year or 2 back, where they had another one of those face scans, but they also recorded all the movements of this person talking. And for a lot of people, Uncanny Valley is kind of like a little bit like this, where it's mostly developed, but there's something off about it. For me, that was total uncanny valley, the NVIDIA thing, when the face started moving. It's just like, okay, this is freaking me out so much. But to think about it, it's like, that is so lifelike. The NVIDIA thing, the NVIDIA demo, was incredibly lifelike for me to the point where it was freaky. But that's now. This is the tech we had back in 2000... When did this game come out? 2006? 2007? And considering it, it's actually really good. I mean, it still holds up today, which is saying quite a lot. You know, it's not just the art style. It's the fact that it looks decent 12 years later. Or 13 years later, however long it's been since this game came out and I'm recording it, you know? It's mid-August of 2019, and this still looks decent. I think that says a lot. Not only for the art style, but also the tech that they were using at the time. And they said it was lifelike back in the day. And I can totally see why they would say that, because back in the day, this was really good. And they also mentioned about a lot of the actors and actresses being pulled in, not only for the face scans, but also for the voice acting. And I know I talked about that a little bit, and a lot of the people watching these videos already knew that and talked about it some more. But I didn't realize just how large the cast of characters was. I knew they brought in the people for Ron and Hermione. Rupert, I'm not even gonna try. I know they brought Rupert in, and I don't remember the rest of the characters aside from Emma Watson. But there was such a huge collaborative effort on this. It's more impressive than anything, just how much they were able to incorporate everything from the films. Not just the assets and everything, but like the actors and the actresses and their voices, you know? It still bums me out a little bit that they based it more on the movies than on the books, but I don't know. At this point, I'll take what I can get. Oh, the House Ghost Cup. For finding all of the ghosts. What? Hold on, what? I need to watch that again. Okay. That's an interesting animation. So for these rewards, do you earn them by cleaning out each of the floors? Or... I think that's how they work. I think they work that way by cleaning up each of the floors. Characters Cup. Is that for meeting all of the main characters, or is that something else? I don't know. Alright, well, let's check out some more of these interviews.
You're for it now, Potter!
I initially auditioned for Harry and Ron, just because obviously they were the main parts at the time. And eventually went for Draco, and succeeded in getting it.
Potter took his time getting here. What are you going to do without your pet teacher, Potter?
I do enjoy playing the baddie. He's just a bit more, well, fun, really, put it in a nutshell.
What do you want, Malfoy? Professor Snape wants to see you in his office. He says it's time for your remedial potions lesson.
You think you're so good.
Useless loser!
Take this, Potter. We'll show you. Oh, look. They've come to save their little friend.
Come on then, Potter. What are you going to do?
Dan, in a sense, is obviously he's not Harry Potter, but in a sense he's something like him, and Rupert's something like Ron, and Emma's something like Hermione. It's nice for me to be the complete opposite of what I hope to be. I like to think I portray myself as a rather gentle young lad.
You're gonna lose, mudblood lovers.
There's something nice about hating the villain. I suppose the more hate I would get from a child, as in the more, you're evil, the better I've done my job.
That is such a good point. Oh my goodness. There are so many actors that will put on the complete... When they take on an acting role, they end up, a lot of times, playing the complete opposite personality of who they are. Partially as a release, or whatever the hell else, but it's like... In the person that plays Malfoy's case, I didn't even pay attention to the name, I'm sorry, but... But it's just like, he found it freeing to be playing the villain, and seeing that the more hate he got, the better he'd done his job. I love that. I also find it interesting that he originally applied for Harry and Ron's parts, but ended up taking on Draco Malfoy's part. And that's something else I just realized. It's reading the books and reading the visual descriptions for the books. I find it really impressive. A lot of movies get this wrong, where the cast looks very much like their written counterparts. Harry looks a lot, or the person that plays Harry looks a lot like how he's described in the book. The person who plays Ron and Hermione, the people who played Ron and Hermione rather, the actors look a lot like how they're described in the book. They have, Emma Watson has the kind of dirty blonde, almost brunette hair. Ron is a ginger. Rupert's a ginger boy. And so is Ron. There's so many movies where they get that wrong, and it irks me to no end. Mostly because I read the books first. And I think that's one of the things that not only I, but a lot of people can appreciate, especially because the books were way popular before the movies were ever made. The actors and actresses look like how they're described in the books. Not necessarily down to the T, but it's close enough. There's no hair colors that are weirdly out of place. The only person that I think a lot of people can say didn't quite fit the description was the woman who played Umbridge, both in the movie and in this game. Because in the book's description, she looks like a toad. I don't think many people thought the actress who played Umbridge looks like a toad. But definitely got that down right. But nobody likes that character anyway, so who cares? Grandmaster Cup. Oh, this is for chess. Okay. For doing all the chess minigames. Whoa. Camera? Okay, relax. What is this for again? Hold on. Can I... Camera manipulation, there we go. So what is this one again? Here, let me see. Can I back up and read it again? No, I guess not. So that's that. Can I read this one again? Well, shit. I have no idea what that one read, so my bad. What's this reward?
When we went to create Hogwarts for Order of the Phoenix this year, we really took ourselves back to basics. We looked at what we'd built in the other games, looked at how that sort of fitted, how that didn't.
When we began, we took the blueprints of Hogwarts, we took the notes we had from Joanne Rowling, and we took all the notes we'd taken from the books, and we tried to sort of bring all those together to understand how Hogwarts fitted together.
It's amazing, there's so much detail that goes into all the games, and because they had like hundreds of computers, and it's quite like the art department in the studios for Harry Potter, and all the concept drawings and how much detail they have to go behind, like before it, to get to the actual finishing product.
So with the sound effects, we're really able to bring Hogwarts to life.
Great sound effects.
we've put in fun bits and pieces. So as you're walking down the grand staircase, you'll hear the portrait speaking to you.
You must venture out into the castle and find it, Mr. Potter.
The game looks amazing, but the building particularly, it's incredible.
The likeness of everything is so accurate to what it is actually like for me on the set.
The Gryffindor common room, it's just very detailed and it just looks exactly like the actual Gryffindor common room in the films, with the big tapestries up and all the portraits and the tiniest little details like the stack of books on the table.
It was really funny watching it because I sort of recognised bits. I was like, oh, I wrote that. You know, there's kind of Dumbledore's army and it's got my personal handwriting on it, and the sets are exactly what the sets are like in the film, and Hogwarts is exactly represented in the films, which you've never really had a sense of before.
We had the challenge that we wanted a person to be able to walk from one end of it, from the boathouse, for instance, all the way through to the owlery without the game ever stopping. And it's a great way to see it, to walk all the way through those corridors, up the stairs, through the classrooms. It's a fantastic way to see the world of Harry Potter realised.
Had some desyncs going on in there with the subtitles. Huh. Yeah, that's something that struck me watching the movies, was how accurate they got a lot of the set pieces in this game accurate to what you see in the movies. They put a lot of work into this, jeez. I guess that makes it all the more appreciable. Appreciable? Appreciable? Word? I don't know which word I'm looking for. Golden Gobstone. Okay. So, did it refresh the term for this? Exploding Snap. That's what that is. Okay. What's this one? Friend of the Year Cup. Okay. What? I'm so confused. Did we watch all the things for this?
When we went to create
yes, watch that one. And I think we watched this one, didn't we?
I'd read the first 4 books before I went for my first audition for the film.
Okay.
I've been a fan before I got the part. Still am now.
I was just content with going for the audition and just say, yeah, I went for an audition for that.
Locomotor Mortis!
Accio! Protego Maxima!
Neville's most important quality is his courage.
Don't you call me an idiot!
And we definitely see it in Order of the Phoenix, the way he doesn't care what danger he's going into. Even though he's the most terrified he's ever been, he'll still do it because he knows it's the right thing to do.
Did you know Ginny Weasley and Michael Corner were going out? I don't think it will last though. Do you?
Being Harry's love interest was a lot of fun.
Don't go, Harry! I want to talk to you.
There probably are a lot of envious girls out there because, you know, Daniel is a very good-looking guy.
There's one thing that Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix really brings forward is just how difficult it is being a kid that age at school. All the problems, as well as not just like the big bad guys that are trying to come and kill you, but all just school life.
They are just, at the end of the day, ordinary kids. They play, they fight.
Children being the main characters and the heroes just makes it a lot more fun as well at the same time. People can think, yeah, I'm there with them. I'm only young, but I can do all this stuff.
That's another really good point, because a lot of times this is something that I felt going through school as a child as well. Well, I say a child, but I'm more referring to middle school and high school through my teen years, where it's just like you get to that point where you want to be an adult, but the world isn't letting you yet. You know, because it's like you're 14, you're 15, and you're understanding more of how the world works, and you get to that point of where you don't necessarily think that you know it all, but you know enough that you should be respected, right? And they're giving you some more rights as they would a normal adult. You're getting more privileges, but a lot of times people aren't taking you seriously like you would expect to be taken seriously, or a lot of other issues like that, where it's like you still feel like you're being treated as though you were a 10-year-old or a 5-year-old even. And it's incredibly frustrating when you're dealing with that. And that seems to be more and more common, where a lot of these younger people aren't being taken seriously. Despite everything that's going on, despite everything they're saying, everything that's being done. A lot of times they're still not being taken seriously, and things happen because of that. Now I want to touch on that a little bit, because if you look at our history, not 100 years ago, not 200 years ago, but before the times of the quote-unquote industrial age, both in the United States, the whole North American area, and in Europe, before that happened, even up until maybe a couple decades before then, when you turned 14, or somewhere in that age range, you became one of the adults, essentially. You no longer went to just taking lessons. You were helping out on the farm. You were helping out around the house. You were oftentimes working, bringing in income. Or you were helping around with keeping the household managed. Especially on farms or something like that. You gained the responsibilities, if not all of them, you gained most of the responsibilities of an adult when you were still in your teenage years. And if you go even further back than that, when we were still living in tribes, a lot of the Native American traditions, they have an adult rite of passage for both boys and girls of turning into men and women around the age of 14. That's when their rite of passage happens, when they turn from a child to an adult. And there's still a lot of learning that goes on there, but that's the age when your life essentially changes, when you go into that transition and you become one of the people that takes on the adult responsibilities. And that's still a little bit present around the world in some cultures, like in Japan. It's really weird for a lot of us here in America, at least, but the age of consent in Japan is 14. And there's a lot of other responsibilities you get at a younger age when you're in Japan. And we still have some of that in the US and other places. Like here in the US, you can get your driver's license at 16. You get your driver's permit at 15 and a half years of age, because there's a 6-month driving permit where you have to learn. But you can get your license at 16. But there's a lot of other responsibilities and a lot of other privileges that you don't really get until you're older. You can't vote. You can't go out to a lot of places until you're 18. In the US, you can't drink until you're 21. In Europe and a lot of other places, it's still 18. You get a lot of your privileges when you're 18. You basically become a full-fledged adult and you don't have to worry about anything. But it seems like the age where we are considered adults has been pushed back, and then the age where we actually get to do adult things is pushed back even further, because not only is there that age barrier where you can't do much until you're 18, you're going to college, and a lot of people are going to college longer. A lot of people are having to stay with their parents longer because of having to pay for their college loans. They have less money that they can pay towards a house, that they can pay towards food, that they can pay towards cars, that they can pay towards getting the adult amenities, if you will. And expenses are going higher while wages aren't. So there's less money coming in to begin with, and you end up with this vicious cycle of more and more people wanting to become adults around the same time. It's not getting sooner, it's staying around the same time, but that time where they actually get to fulfill that yearning inside is being pushed further and further back into their lives. And it's incredibly frustrating. I mean, for me, I'm still living at home. And I'm 23 now, you know? It's like, when am I gonna get a place of my own? I had a taste of it when I went out to Idaho. I had a taste of living, not necessarily by myself, but living away from home, having my own place where I stayed, having my own money that I spent on what I needed, what I could afford. And it was incredibly liberating to have that freedom. And I still miss it every day. I still have resentment in general. It's not necessarily towards my parents, but I have resentment that I'm stuck in my home, not able to move out and get my piece of the pie, so to speak. And yeah, the world doesn't owe me anything. That's just a given. But it's what I want, you know? I want my own little home or my apartment. I want a place where I can do what the hell I want to do and have the responsibilities that comes along with it. And I think there's other problems that go along with that, because there's less, at least in the US and with my schooling, there's less being taught on personal life skills. They don't teach us anything about tax code. They don't teach us anything about essential life skills like home ec, sewing, cooking, any of that stuff. It used to be required in schools. You had to learn that stuff, just in case your parents couldn't teach you, right? Those are electives now. Those are optional courses. There are so many people who don't know how to take care of their finances, who don't know how to cook, who don't know how to do sewing. And if some of those people are watching right now, you don't have to feel ashamed of that. It's never too late to learn. But the sooner you can learn that, the better. Because it saves you so much money in the long run. And it's, for me at least, it's a bit of a self-confidence booster. I can cook. I don't know how to sew, but I can do some basic patching. And I also have another piece where I learned how to live off the land with just the clothes on my back and my two hands, you know? A lot of people in the world don't know how to do that. So, you know, I feel pretty well off, all things considered. I have more self-confidence than I did when I left high school. And it's so much academic learning that unless you're going to college, you don't need it. Like, yes, you use a lot of basic algebra when you're out of school, and you use a lot of geometry and trigonometry for some of the more refined stuff. But if you're doing cashier clerk, or if you're doing more basic stuff, like a butcher, or even some of the higher jobs where you're working in an office, a lot of the times you're learning job-specific skills and not necessarily using a lot of the science, a lot of the higher math that you learn in schools. And there are some businesses now. I know Google is one of them, and I hate Google. Even though I'm on YouTube, I really dislike Google. But one of the things that they are doing now is that they are dropping the college graduate requirement that a lot of businesses have, and are focusing more on experience. They still require a GED or high school graduation diploma. High school graduation diploma? That's a little redundant. High school diploma. But they no longer have the requirement that you took your 4 years. They're focused more on what can you do, not versus what you studied for so long in school. And it's kind of interesting, but sometimes you get into a bit of some people that take their courses feel like they knew it all. That's a vibe that I get. A lot of people that, especially going to these higher colleges, like some of the ones kind of in my area are University of Virginia, Virginia Tech is another one. I don't know what the ones in Maryland are, but there's a lot of universities, all the higher ones, people come back from that, and some of them are still themselves. Other ones, you know, they kind of had the party life, and so they changed from that. But some of them who've gotten their diploma and did the academic stuff, really worked at it, they come off as kind of know-it-alls. And I don't know if they were like that before, but it brings the vibe of, I already know everything and you can't teach me anything more. And that is the biggest mistake, the biggest problem that can come from going through those 4 years or even longer. Because not only do you close yourself off to new possibilities, you also, well, that's the thing, you close yourself off to new possibilities. So people who've done it for 30 plus years, you get the impression that you already know it, so you don't necessarily listen to them, even if they have good advice. That's been in my experience. I'm not saying that's an across the board thing. That's just been my experience. I'm sure there's plenty of people, I know a few people who have gone through college and are even more open-minded than they were when they started. You know? It's just my experience has been a lot of people that have gone through school, especially well, I can't really say the older people, but the people who have been through college and then did their thing for a couple years, just a couple years, not for very long, came off as kind of preachy. And the other thing we have to remember is that one size does not fit all. No matter how you do it, it does not fit everybody. So you really have to cater to one person's needs, and that's becoming more abundantly clear. One of the courses I took in teaching kids, and this is the reason I listened to this is because it correlated with a lot of other things I heard, where you have to cater to the kid's needs or the person's needs versus trying to force this one curriculum on them. Anyway, I went off on a 5 or 10 minute tangent, so let's get into this other piece. I apologize. I don't apologize, but I had to get that off my chest. Are these photographs of the different scenes from the movie? Is it? These are totally photographs from the movie. Oh, I just had another weird thought. Watching the third movie and then watching the fifth movie, it's kind of weird seeing how much it'd grown from between movies. But it's also weird to think about how these people are maybe, well, not the person who played Hagrid, but all the kids, quote unquote, in this movie were around my age. Oh my gosh, I just kind of had a mind-blowing thing. I could have grown up with some of these people in school. We were around the same age range. Oh, that's weird to think about. That's another weird thing. Oh my goodness. The fact that so many people that watched it were kids, and people my age, maybe a couple years older, a couple years younger, got to grow up alongside the cast of Harry Potter. Holy shit. Oh, that's so weird. You're not only growing up with the series, you're growing up with the kids in it. Oh, that's so weird. Like, I think the people that play most of the people in the school year of Harry Potter, Harry, Ron, Hermione, they're maybe a year or two older than me? I'd have to double check on that. I'm pretty sure the actors of Harry and Hermione are maybe 1 or 2 years older than I am. Oh, that's so weird. What the? Oh, God. Okay. I'm freaking out a little bit about it. I just had that realization. The Smuggler Cup. What? What is that about? Is that for doing everything you can with the invisibility cloak? I have no idea. Okay, that's for all the statues that you can interact with. What the hell's all this? Are the rest of these just photos from the movies? You know, I kind of want to skip these because you can just watch the movie to find these scenes, but at the same time, it's weird kind of watching this and having the memories come back from watching The Order of the Phoenix. Like the part where the divinations teacher is thrown out. I don't remember that scene. That's at the end of the movie where he's talking to Dumbledore. Oh, there's... Why am I saying spoilers? It's... Yeah, I think from here on I'm going to kind of skip them if it's just more photos, because I don't really care about these. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. So it's just the first few where you have the interviews. Interesting. Oh no, this is concept art. Oh shit. Okay, this I'm more interested in. Oh, that's right. They never had the portable swamps in the movie. That was an in-game thing. And that was in the book. Oh shit. Wow. Okay, I have a lot more appreciation for this game now than I did a few minutes ago. I totally forgot about that. They added scenes to this that weren't in the movie and that were in the book. Oh, that's so good. And there's a lot of scenes they did have in the movie that weren't in the book. Like, you barely had half the scenes with the actual ministry in here. Like the whole thing with the Thestrals and all of that stuff. That was barely in the game. And it kind of makes sense, actually, thinking about it, because a lot of the stuff that happens in the movie, a lot of the scenes that happened, just in general wouldn't translate well to the game. You'd have to get really creative with how you do it. And considering that, I'm pretty sure they were trying to be faithful to the movie, so you kind of have to cut out certain parts where it's so... You'd have to make it so scripted that you can't really do much. And that happened in the game, because a lot of the game, weirdly enough, is about exploration and discovering things in the Hogwarts castle. Like the famous witches and wizards. What is this one? And the stuff on the nature trail. I'm pretty sure this was finding the footprints. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what the footprints path. They covered so little of that in the movie. Because why would they? But it added an element to this game where so much of the stuff that was in the movie was taken out. And I actually really appreciate that. I still find that one scene where we were playing as Dumbledore just incredibly bizarre. Come to think of it. I just had another thought. This is more of a comparison between the books, the movies, and the games. I noticed in the movies they have a lot of the finger waving stuff and less movement with the wand. Especially in the third movie, I noticed there was a lot of that finger movement to unlock certain things or do different activities, whereas in the game and in the book, there's a lot more wand waving that goes on. I don't remember Moody doing a whole lot with his staff, and he did a lot of that in the movie. We didn't experience much of him in the game, though. I know we saw him, but we didn't experience much of him. Kind of unfortunate. Even after everything that happened in the Order of the Phoenix, I actually really like his character, despite everything. Like, see, that is not Toadface. That is like... That is Lamb Face right there. I see sheep when I see that picture. And that's not to be offensive at all. I'm not going for the whole sheeple thing. I'm just saying, when I look at that, well, not that face. When I see the actress that played Umbridge, Dolores Umbridge, when I see her face, it looks to me more like a sheep. But otherwise, that's still really well played. Yeah, that's not Toadface, come on. Fudge's face is more Toadface than hers. I don't know, it's all opinion. Who? What was that? I know that's supposed to be a scene from the movie, right? I don't remember that scene at all. Huh. Weirdness. Now what is all this? Explorer's Cup. I guess that's for discovering every location or something? Architecture Cup? Is that for climbing everything? I guess that's for learning all the spells? School Pride. And that's for cleaning everything, okay. Huh. Hmm? Random cage, alright. Huh. Didn't I say I was gonna skip these? Okay, these are just more photos. Don't really care. That's okay. I remember why I didn't skip the last one, because I was hoping for concept art, and I was full of Is this a trailer? This is totally the trailer. We don't need to see that again. We don't need to see that again. And there's the credits. That's too funny. Oh my goodness. You know, I really have to agree with the point where the soundtrack for this game is better than the movie. Having seen it now, I have to 100% agree. The soundtrack for this game is really good. I'm still not putting it up there with Chamber of Secrets, though. That game's soundtrack was fantastic. And that's probably why this soundtrack of this game is good, because I know they use some of the pieces from that soundtrack. Jeez, it's almost been an hour since recording this. Wow. Well, I hope you appreciate my ramblings that went on in this one. It was less review. I wasn't trying to review the game. I wasn't expecting to say so much about the game that I did. But I will have a more comprehensive review coming up after this. Huh. I'm actually, hold on. I'm actually gonna reinstate my old save files and see just how much of this I unlocked on my own. Because I know I was pretty close. I was around 80-something% in my latest save, if I remember correctly. So I'm gonna be right back, and we'll be here when I have my other saves loaded. So see you in a sec. And here we are, we're right back. And here we are once again.
Every time you discover things, my file gets heavier. You don't know how lucky you are that portraits can't jinx.
Wait, file, is that a pun? That's totally a pun, isn't it? And I just checked, I had this at 83% completion. So, wow. Okay, so that's the gobstone one, right? Hidden parcels, that's what that one is, okay. I've missed one statue? No! Are you serious? I missed one plaque. I got the nature trail one. Oh, and those are unlocked through points, right. Those are unlocked through points, okay. Herpader. Explorer Cup. 8 of 12 hidden Hogwarts symbols. That's what that is. Okay. Defense against the Dark Arts Cup. That's what that is. Okay. And that's the chores. Okay. And that's for beating the game. Because that's the credits one. Oh my gosh! Wow! Well, I mean, I've done 83% of the game, so it's not a surprise, but wow, I was actually really close. I didn't feel like spending the extra 2 or 3 hours on it, though, because I'd have to search through the entire area. It's not just getting it done, it's the fact that I have to go through the entire area, the entire school, and try to find the damn things. Which is why I didn't, so... But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my rambling despite everything else that was going on in this. Oh man, this was actually really good. I'm glad I went through this. This was so good. It makes me always want to 100% the game now. So I can just be like, yeah, I earned all this stuff. But when have I 100% in one of the other games? Oh my god. The first 2 games are the ones where I actually would have legitimately wanted 100% it. And the fourth one I almost did just for completionist's sake, and I looked at that and said, hell no, I'm not doing it again. Because I enjoyed that game to an extent, but there was just so much wrong with it I could not deal with. But this game, I would not have minded going around through the castle, but just trying to find all the things I missed, because there's so much to find in this game. It just would have been an absolute nightmare. So that's why I didn't do it by myself. I ended up taking the help of somebody who beat the PC version of the game the year it was released! Crazy people! Riding off that hype train. Meanwhile, it's taken me how many months to finish this Let's Play? Oh my goodness. Anyway, that's gonna do it for now. I will see you guys in the review. Thank you so much for watching, and hope you have a great day. Until then, take care. Bye for now. So you take a pumpkin.
Wingardium Leviosa!
Wait, what? What? That's a thing?
Nice one, Harry.
Huh. I was expecting that to be stupid and amusing, but that was actually kind of cool. Alright.